We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Miami Dolphins linebacker David Long. And he was, if you watch my other video on him, he's my favorite pickup that they had in free agency. Such a great value signing, and he's going to be so important to this defensive front this upcoming season. If you know Fangio, he runs like more light boxes than like any other defensive coordinator in the league. So having guys up front who can stop the run, like he sacrifices, guys in the box to have numbers to each side, to distribute routes. And David Long at the linebacker position, which, is probably the weakest, group. If you watch my Jerome Baker video, it's like Jerome Baker's a solid player, but it's the weakest group overall. Like they have studs, they have elite players in the secondary and at defensive line up front. And David Long is going to be that guy to stop the run. He's going to have a lot of tackles this season. They have, fortunately, a very good defensive line in front of him. Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, Raekwon Davis, even a solid run-stopping nose. These guys will all make plays versus run, but when you have a numbers disadvantage in the box at times, your linebackers are going to have to step up and make plays, and Long does an amazing job. He processes all type of run concepts, whether it's zone runs, inside zone, outside zone, gap scheme runs. He just reads things quickly. He processes, gets downhill. He can stack and track. He can get aggressive when he sees his opportunity. This play right here is still one of the best plays I've seen a linebacker make in many, many years. Love how he looks pre-snap, great bend, and then just instantly he can he can be your Will, he can be your Mike, whichever, like both. He can be on the backside of outside zone runs, just everything that you ask of him. Gets downhill, fills the flow instantly. You can see how quickly he's processing this, and he gets an uncovered offensive lineman, and he just shoots down aggressively. Like, this play is so impressive. He just knocks this guy, destroys him. Great shock in his hands. Like, he's an undersized guy at linebacker, and to be able to do that to an offensive lineman is insane. And then to shut him to the ground like that, and then also make the tackle, insane play. One of the best plays we'll see. Like they also got called for holding on the offensive line, and he still did that play. It's absolutely ridiculous. One of the best plays you'll see a linebacker ever make, from pretty much every standpoint. Like he excelled on that. So just keep an eye on David Long this season, because he's a very, very big part of this upcoming season for the Miami Dolphins. I love these types of plays from linebackers. Do you know, if you're a more casual fan, these plays don't seem like anything crazy, but this is such an amazing play from David Long. Like, his responsibility here lined up over this A gap, and you can see him just playing disciplined. He's stacking, he's tracking to get over the top of this, just reading this run here. This inside zone comes down, and then this happens a lot where running backs, they press the line of scrimmage, and then they cut, and then linebackers commit to the press, and then get taken out of the play. But look how he does this. He's able to scrape over the top. He's stacking here. He's reading, anticipating this cutback lane. So he sees that this defensive lineman gains control of this gap, and he knows he can now has the freedom to scrape over the top, avoids an O-lineman while he's at it. Great, hand usage, get to the back of the elbow, and working through all that trash to limit this gain. That is a high-level play by an inside linebacker. About like as clean as it can get with this type of play where you're just stacking, tracking, scraping over the top, being in charge of multiple gaps. Like, this is very important. You can be an A gap defender and get over to this, C gap over here. Very high level work from David Long. Those other plays I showed were from 2021, 2022. He was like the leader of this Titans defense. He was good in both seasons. I think 2021, he was probably even better, but 2022, still a quality year. Communicating pre-snap. This is an impressive play. Just reading, the fullback here. A lot of the times, their keys are the offensive lineman, or they're, keying the fullback, working to this side of the field. And then look how he recognizes this play very quickly. Like, even this, right guard, usually who we might be reading is crashing down, working this double team, and you think he might come up, fill this gap right here, but he sees the fullback and he wants to meet him at the point of attack. And even in all this tight space, most guys are just going to drop their shoulder, get into the fullback, and he can do that. We've seen him, take on a lineman, but look how he's able to, stay square, wide base, quickly avoid this guy, instantly shed, but without giving up. Because a lot of times when guys try to avoid, they'll take themselves out of the play, but he still stays in his run fit here and is able to, make this tackle on Josh Jacobs to limit a big gain, just avoiding that fullback with ease on space. Got to be able to do that. So we've seen him, destroy an offensive lineman at the point of attack. We've seen him avoid a block as well, block avoidance ability, and we've seen him do stack and track, covering multiple gaps at once. All high level stuff that you want out of your linebacker. It's going to be such a huge part of this defense next year. Similar to the last play, he's keying the fullback. He's lined up, head up, over the center. He's the Mike linebacker here. And look how he's able to adjust this time. He's like seeing the fullback instantly shoot over to this gap. So he just takes a wide angle, is going to meet him. But he's seen the running back sort of sitting this back and not following off the fullback. Typically on these runs, he's supposed to follow the fullback, but he feels this, and this is just pure natural instinct to come off of this, not even meet him at the point of attack, just get over and help make that tackle for another limited gain instead of, doing exactly what your job responsibility is supposed to be and just making a good instinctive football play. Another very, very good play from David Long. Pre-snap communication, always important. He bumps the defensive line down, and then look how he's able to, fill this gap, come over the top, scrape, make another good gain. Like, this is why it's so important. Like, look, this is a pretty, light box here from the Tennessee Titans, 4 up front, 2 linebackers. They have like a nickel over here, but he's like he's not in the box, but he's involved with the run fit. But this is basically him getting a one-on-one versus a running back, and he's filling up into this A gap, just make sure that he's reading this, and based on Jacobs' leverage, he knows that he can still get over to this gap over here, and now he's just reading, anticipating, getting over the top, making another excellent play to limit a run where he just gets a one-on-one with running back in space. He can win in so many different ways. Here we get to see some David Long in some coverage. Obviously, really want to focus mainly on the run defensive stuff because that's when he's going to be most important. But it's nice to see that he can at least drop into coverage. Like, Jerome Baker and him are still going to be involved in coverage because they're definitely a part of what Fangio likes to do with their zone distribution, zone matching, carrying things down the field. And this is an impressive play. We'll go back and watch this a little more slowly from this wide view, the all-22 angle. And it's play action, so hard play action. He takes one step down initially, but then he realizes he's got to get out of this. And to his side of the field, getting out, he sees the number 2, the tight end, stays into pass block. So he's got to find number 1 and take away that throwing lane. He ends up, flipping his hips here, flips it back the other way, like almost does like a center field turn to locate this curl route, which is really impressive because you watched the Dolphins offense last season. They ran this route, and then you sit this down, and it's in between a triangle of defenders. But a linebacker getting out from play action, going and finding this guy, not just sitting, covering grass, finding this and then making a play at the catch point to dislodge that ball out. That's some great stuff there. If the Dolphins linebackers do this type of thing, they gain a lot of depth. David Long, Jerome Baker, both pretty solid in coverage. Like, if they're doing these types of plays pretty consistently, I don't know how teams are going to be able to, get a lot of completions against the Dolphins secondary. And then up front, they also have a really, really good pass rush coming this season. Truly, this defense has the opportunity to be really, really special, like best in the league if they play up to their potential. Like, this is definitely the best Dolphins roster they've had because they have both the offense and defense that I think can easily both be top 5 in the league with their weaponry, what they have on both sides of the ball, the players that lead the defense. This is truly the opportunity to do it. I think this year, probably in the next 1, 2, 3 years, is their opportunity to win a Super Bowl. So hopefully that happens. 3rd and 18 situation. Wanted to show off this play just to show off his screen awareness. Looking like he might blitz there, but once he sees, the offensive lineman's sneaking out, the running back as well, he's just, manning up on him like this. Looks like he might, if he thinks the running back's going to block, he might blitz, but he sees that he's spilling out, makes the instinctive play important. He's a pretty good athlete as well. Not like a high top tier elite athlete, but he's good enough combined with his instincts that he just makes plays. He's got really quick feet, tough to block out in space, and then just makes a very nice tackle there. Here we got David Long in coverage. They're trying to, get him isolated with Travis Kelce, working like a little bit of a jerk route. And they actually tried to, target David Long pretty heavily throughout this game with Travis Kelce. And he did a good job of, either disrupting at the catch point or, limiting his gains after the catch, tackling him right away. He did a pretty decent job, actually, better than you would expect. Like, he's not like a top-tier coverage linebacker, but he does his good enough job here. He just stays disciplined, stays patient. He's just reading through to Mahomes here. He's in a drop zone coverage, so he's not going to fall for this move by Kelce. And then once, he starts to cross his face, he wants to squeeze and hold on to this. He's reading, and then, Kelce doesn't hang on to it, but he's there to, help disrupt that as well, not able to make a play. It's also like a 2nd and long situation, which now it would be 3rd and long because he helped make this play right there. So it's just important to see what he's able to do in coverage as well, because that's also going to be a big part of this defensive success, because if the linebackers are covering well, I really, really like our chances versus, the high-powered offenses. Last play that we're going to break down. Here we got David Long stopping the run again, just versus outside zone, make a guy miss in space. We've seen him, destroy the offensive lineman when he has a chance. And look how quickly he moves here. Makes him miss so fast. Like, this is an uncovered offensive lineman. Uncovered. This guy is covered right here by the center. He gets a one-on-one block. This guard, that means, now has free reign to work to the second level, get, without, having to slow down, work a combo block. This is very difficult for a lot of linebackers to then avoid this block in space or take them on. Like, look right here. This guy's under control. They're both squared, not moving too wildly out of control, either player. And then he instantly, shoots those hands out to the chest, uses his own leverage against him, and then gets out of there laterally very quickly and is still able, even loses balance a little bit and still makes that tackle. That is beautiful linebacker work. So many ways, man. He's just an absolute beast. Here, yeah, he's play side of the outside zone run. We've seen him on the backside so many different ways. And even, like, look, he's like pre-snap here. He's like moving with the motion. So the motion's going away, and he's moving away from the flow of the play with his first step just because that's what was happening with the pre-snap motion. And he's still able to identify, get out of it. And, like, this right guard right here wants to be able to cut him off or at least square him up. And right here, it looks like he might square him up, but he just easily gets that outside control. Just absolutely beautiful work. Watching David Long is one of my favorite things to do. I'm so excited for this upcoming season. He'll be one of the guys I will definitely be highlighting each week when I'm breaking down some film, and obviously we'll do some, single videos on him. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Injuries is probably the biggest thing for him, but big time player. You know that if you watch my other videos. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.